Okay, so here goes for an example with a repeated linear factor on the denominator, which has been squared. So the first thing to do is get the form correct. So you need to do a over the first bracket, which is x minus 1, plus, and then, so proper fraction is sort of tempting to think that I could do bx plus c over x minus 2 squared, but as we saw in the other example, that can be written as a constant over x minus 2 plus a constant over x minus 2 squared, which is much more useful than having it like this. So you split this one like so. And then you times through by the denominator. Again, I'm really not sure I recommend writing in this line, but I want to show you what's happening. So I'm timesing by this, do my speed writing. So timesing through by this denominator, that one's over x minus 1, that one's over x minus 2, and that one over x take 2 squared. And then, so I would personally choose to go from this line to this line here. So x plus 1, so one of these is going to cancel. So in this case it's x minus 1 that cancels, and it leaves you with x minus 2 squared. But you can see it more clearly there. Here the x minus 2 would cancel, so you lose one of these but not both of these. So it's b lots of x minus 1, x minus 2, and then for this one here you'd cancel off x minus 2 squared top and bottom to leave you with just x minus 1. So that line's there so you can see the process. You can write it out if you want to, it just takes a bit of time, it's no problem. Right, two methods of doing this. Method 1 is, oh actually no, let's start it then I'll show you the two methods. So the beginning is the same, so you're setting brackets to 0. So when x is equal to 2, the left hand side 2 plus 1 is 3, 2 minus 2 is 0, 2 minus 2 is 0, so I can ignore those. 2 minus 1 is 1, and so c is equal to 3. Then I can let x equal 1 to make this bracket 0. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then 1 minus 2 is minus 1. That bracket 0, that bracket 0, so we can ignore those. And so a is equal to 2 because minus 1 squared is 1. So we've got the values of a and c. Right, method 1 to find b is just substituting another value for x. So I've used 1 and I've used 2. The obvious one to use here is 0. But you could, any number of your choice. So if I let x equal 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. 0 minus 2 is minus 2 squared is 4. Minus 1 times minus 2 is 2, and then minus c. And then we know that c is 3, a is 2, so 4 times 2 is 8. Sorry, c is 3. So if we add 3 minus 8, 2b is equal to minus 4, and so B is equal to minus 2. And then you can just substitute those into there. That's your first method. I would stick with that method unless you're quite comfortable with method 2. Method 2 is just a little bit more sophisticated. So for method 2, let's make sure I haven't lost you. If I take it back to this line here, and this is called equating coefficients, which we will sort of do a little bit more on as the course progresses. But we can equate coefficients. The easiest coefficients to equate in this case are your x squared. So it's the number you're timesing x squared by. So on the left hand side I don't have any x squareds, so that's 0. And then here, if you think about expanding this bracket, you get x squared minus 4x plus 4. So when you times by a, you'll have a times x squared. Here, x times x is x squared, so that would be b, and then there's no x squared here. You need to be a little bit careful if you've got something like this, because then you've got 2x squared, and so it would be plus 2b there, just a word of warning. And we know from earlier that a is equal to 2, and if a is 2, then b is equal to minus 2. And so the whole thing, a is 2, so it goes to there, so A, B, C on top. I can't remember whether I said this on the last video or not, because I've had to redo this one. But if you end up with a fraction on top, so if A or B or C come out as a fraction, just do a simple one there, then obviously you don't really want to leave a fraction on top of a fraction. Two ways of looking at this. You could think about that denominator as being over 1 and flip it and multiply. Or you could sort of think about separating this out. We're dividing by x minus 4, not timesing by it. So the x minus 4 is going to the bottom of that fraction. But again, if you think about flipping and multiplying, that kind of is quite obvious. 1 over 3 x. 5. So that's what to do if you get fractions. So this is method 2. If that looks easy and you're comfortable with it, great, go for it. If not, method 1 is just a bit more straightforward in some ways, but you just have to do a bit more number crunching here. So go with your strengths, and I'll give you a few to do. Cheers.